Ready, kids? Is there anybody listening to the story or not?
Could you turn off the screen share, please?
Oh, yes.
We got kids listening.
All right, let's see, stop share. How do I stop the share? How do I stop this? What's going on here? Why can't I stop the share?
It should be probably somewhere near the top of your screen.
It is, but I can't.
Put your cursor over it. Maybe a menu will come down.
Oh, here it is. Good, stop share. There it is. All right. Once there was a simple chassid in the time of the Baal Shem Tov, and he so much wanted to see the Baal Shem Tov. He was very poor, so he saved up his money. Penny and penny, until finally, after 10 years of hard work and scrapping and saving, he saved up enough money that he could give it to his wife, and that would hold her for the whole month of Tishrei and Elul. And he would travel to the Baal Shem Tov, and he would be able to be there for a whole month, 2 months. So he got on a wagon, and he got on a carriage, paid the money, and they went to Mezibuz, where the Baal Shem Tov was. And finally he gets there, and he's so excited. He's got his little suitcase, all battered suitcase. And he asks people, can you tell me where the Baal Shem Tov? He sees everybody going to the synagogue. And he goes in, and he's standing there in the back, here's the holy Baal Shem Tov. He sees his face, it's like a fluorescent light. He's just so happy, and so, and all the Chassidim are all there, and they're all singing. Suddenly the Baal Shem Tov looks up, and he looks directly at him. There's maybe 1,000 Chassidim in this, but he sees, there's no mistaking. The Baal Shem Tov is looking directly at him. And the Baal Shem Tov says, Zalman from Otvatsk. So that's him. He's Zalman from Otvatsk. Zalman from Otvatsk. So everybody sort of makes this sort of, they sort of part. And the Baal Shem Tov looks at him. Zalman from Otvatsk. Looking at, what could it be? Aren't you ashamed of yourself? How can you dare to come into a holy place like this? How can you dare? A person like you, full of sins, iniquities. You should be embarrassed. The Baal Shem Tov closes his eyes, puts his head down. So this Zalman from Advask, he can't figure out what is going on. What could he have done wrong? So he's running through his mind, maybe one time he didn't feed the chickens on time, or maybe one time he got mad at the cow, or, what could he, he always thought he was doing. So the Baal Shem Tov looks up and he says, get out of here. I don't want to see your face here again. Get out and leave. Never darken my doorstep. Poor guy. So everybody sort of helps him and they take him out, and he's wandering around just bewildered, totally bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. Holding his little battered suitcase. And he's standing there sort of wandering around, and he can't even cry. He's just so shocked by what happened. And so he sees a wagon, a carriage. So he gets in the carriage and he says, take me back to Advatsk. He says, sure, no problem. Advatsk, or whatever his city was. So he's driving in the carriage. Came nighttime, and they can't travel in the night. In those days, there was no street lights. So in the nighttime, they would stop by an inn or a tavern or something, which there were, on the way to the Baal Shem Tov. There was Jews who made an inn, a little hotel or something. So he stopped off, and he paid the driver, and he went into this inn, and he found a table in the corner, and he sat down and he just started crying. Didn't know what to do. He couldn't go to sleep. He couldn't eat. He couldn't do anything. Just sitting crying. And he's sitting there all miserable. Suddenly he hears from outside, Oh yeah, yeah. And the door opens up, and there's all these Chassidim that they're coming to the Baal Shem Tov. There's like 10 of them, and they're really happy. And they push a couple tables together, and they order a couple of bottles of vodka and some herring and some pickles, and they're all singing. And one of the Chassidim that's all happy and they're all singing, he happens to glance over and he sees this Zalman of Vatbask in the corner. He nudges his friend. He says, look over there, what's in the corner. His friend looks over in the corner and says, I don't see anything. Look good. You'll see in the shadows. He says, oh, why? There's a Jew sitting over there. He said, yeah, it must be one of those misnagdim. What the misnagdim? Those were Jews who didn't like the Chassidim. Those were Jews that they thought the Chassidim were a little bit too wild. And they hated the Chassidim. They thought that Chassidim were going to destroy Judaism. The misnagdim, the opposers. It must be one of them. How can a person be so close to the Baal Shem Tov and be miserable? It must be one of those opposers. What do you do to somebody that opposes him? You? What do you do to somebody who hates you? You have to love him. He says, let's go and makarev him. We'll show him our friendship and our love. So they go over to him and they say, excuse me, hello, we're on our way to the Baal Shem Tov and we'd like, come and sit with us. So this Zalman says, listen, do me a favor. Just please leave me alone. Leave me alone. I just want to be alone. He says, no. We understand. Of course. You're a Jew like us and we love you. You're our friend. He says, listen, please do me a favor. I just want to sit here and I'm really just sort of heartbroken. No, come on. One takes his hand and puts it under his, and another takes it and they lift him up and they put him down, sit him down with them and they're sitting there. And he's sort of trying to get away and pull his chair back. And they're saying, no, come on, you're our friend, we like you. Here, you know what, make a l'chaim. So he says, no. They said, what did you say? He says, no. As soon as he goes, no, like that, they pour his like this and they put him back and they give him a l'chaim. So he drinks it, they close his mouth and he drinks it down and he says, okay, now let me go. He said, don't you want another l'chaim? I mean, come on, we're sitting here friends. He says, no. As soon as he goes, no, do it again. They give him another l'chaim. And this they do about 3 times, 4 times, until finally, afterwards, he's doing it himself. So they ask, you want another l'chaim? He says, no. And he himself goes, like that, and he drinks. Until finally, he's drunk and he's happy, and they're dancing, and they're dancing on. He's forgotten everything, all of his problems. And soon, all of a sudden, they hear from outside, morning. So they all get together and they take all their bags and they pay the innkeeper and they pack back into their carriage and they drive to Meziguz, to the Baal Shem Tov. And they get to the Baal Shem Tov and here is this Chassid, this Zalman of Vatbatsk, and he's totally wiped out, just totally drunk, right? And they take him with and they say, now we're going to show him the holy Baal Shem Tov and this is going to change his whole life. So they take him into the Baal Shem Tov and they sit him down, they bring him into the synagogue. It's early in the morning, before davening, they bring him into the synagogue, and there's the Baal Shem Tov standing in front of everybody. It's like 1,000 people. And then he says, and he's all, this guy, Zalman is all drunk, and he's sort of singing to himself. And the Baal Shem Tov, he's got his tefillin on, and they're about to start, and he turns around, and he looks at the crowd, and he says, Zalman of Atvatsk. And everybody parts, and here's Zalman standing. He lifts his eyes up, sees the Baal Shem Tov. It's like somebody threw a bucket of cold water on him. And he thinks, whoa, what happened? How did I get here? So listen, maybe now it's a dream. Maybe I'm not. So one second, maybe what I thought the Baal Shem kicked me out, maybe that's the dream. Maybe this is what's real. Maybe that's the dream. He just doesn't know what to do. He's so confused. The Baal Shem Tov says, Zalman Vatvatsk, come here. Come here. They push him up. The Baal Shem Tov grabs him and hugs him and kisses him. Zalman Vatvatsk, I was wondering where you were. Oh, I missed you. I'm so happy you're here with us. And he thinks, what in the world is going on? The Baal Shem Tov said to him, probably you're wondering what's happening. Yesterday I kicked you out of here like a dog. And now I'm treating you like my only son. He says, well, I'll tell you what happened. Yesterday you came in and I saw the angel of death came in with you and he was dancing over your head. And I knew that you weren't going to live even to see Rosh Hashanah. So I thought to myself, I'll pray for him. So I put my head down and I prayed, and I prayed, and I looked up, and there was the angel of death dancing over your head. My prayers had no effect. So I thought, what am I going to do to save this man? I know what I'll do. I'll embarrass you. And embarrassing somebody, that's like killing him. So I embarrassed you in front of everybody. I said, how dare you step foot in this place with all of your sins and everything like that? And I looked, had no effect. The angel of death was still dancing over your head. So I thought to myself, okay, with the angel of death, you got to be clever. I got to outsmart the angel of death. I thought, what am I going to do? I said, I know what I'll do. I said, I'll evict you from here. I'll kick you out. What are you going to do? You're not going to just wander around the streets until Rosh Hashanah. You'll take a carriage and go back. And you take a carriage and go back. It's a long drive to Advatsk. You can't, it's going to have to, at least one night is going to, you can't travel on the night. What are you going to do? You're going to stop off at an inn. If you stop off at an inn, you're not going to go to sleep. You'll be so heartbroken and confused, you'll probably just sit in the corner and cry. For sure, there's going to be Chassidim coming the other way to me. They also can't travel in the nighttime. They're also going to, and they also won't be able to sleep because they're going to be so happy to come in, and they're coming close to the to me. Said when a Chassid comes in and he's all happy, he's going to, what are they going to do? Push tables together and buy vodka and make a fabringa. Said when a person is happy, is he can't stand to see somebody sad. As soon as they see you sitting in the same room as they are, for exactly the opposite reason, you can't sleep because you're so miserable, they can't sleep because they're so happy, they're going to say, we have to make him happy. They won't be able to stand to see somebody unhappy, and they'll bring you to be with them. And when they do, they'll drink vodka. Now a chassid, when he drinks vodka, he doesn't just make a blessing and drink the vodka. He says, l'chaim, l'chaim. So, well, the law is that 3 Jews, if they're religious Jews, if they're together, that's like a judicial court. So if you have 3 Jews together and they say l'chaim, 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 means that they've decided legally that you're going to live. So if 3 Jews say that you're going to live, then you're going to live. And I see that's what happened. I see it worked. You came here and the angel of death is not dancing around your head anymore. And now you're going to live. So that's the power of saying l'chaim. So l'chaim to everyone. See you all at 3 o'clock.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Thank you. Shalom.
Shalom.